Good afternoon, and thank you for joining today's Securing Rapidly Rising Remote Access webinar. My name is Michael Holden from Bytes. I'm pleased to be joined today by Spencer Branton, a sales specialist, and Dave Harper, a sales engineer specialist, both from Palo Alto Networks, who will be taking us through the bulk of today's presentation. The agenda for the webinar. Firstly, a short overview of Bytes. We will then move into the majority of the presentation from Spencer and Dave, which will be around Palo Alto's Prisma Access and how it enables a mobile workforce and speeds deployment. So, who are Bytes? Bytes enable an effective and cost-efficient technology sourcing, adoption, security and management software, hardware, and cloud services. Bytes have a wide range of expertise, including licensing and SAM, data management, and security. On the security side, we have a wide range of technology partners with the highest level of accreditations with the majority of our vendors. We offer a variety of technical services, hold multiple accreditations, and boast award-winning delivery, which we are extremely proud of. But that's enough about us. Let's talk about secure remote access. As mentioned previously, we are joined today by Spencer, a sales specialist, and Dave, a sales engineering specialist from Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto is a global cybersecurity leader, trusted by over 70,000 customers in over 150 countries. So we felt it would be appropriate to have them speak to you today. Thank you, Spencer.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for joining us at this webinar for Prisma Access. Here we'll basically show you some of what we're seeing around the industry trends at the moment, some of the challenges organizations and businesses are facing, but also how we can help customers and organizations negate and navigate through these very challenging times as we have them right now. So, not to be too doom and gloom, but I think this is pretty much state of the lay of the land as everybody sees it at present. There is huge uncertainty, as we know. There has been mass disruption to our economy, and we are now likely to see a recession that may, of course, possibly even lead into depression. With all of that, what we have now seen is, a huge impact on business priority. And as we look at that, from a business continuity, from secure access, we are now seeing organizations really starting to readdress as to what their priorities are now for the coming year. And a lot of this is around how can I keep my users and my business productive without having too much damage done to my business, and that be it from having data that is now no longer resides solely to your branch offices, but now to wherever your users are. So in effect, from an organization that maybe has 20 branch offices that has over 4,000 users, now has 4,000 branch offices based on the premise that those users now are solely remote. So of course, we are now seeing organizations now that are leveraging the cloud applications to connect. I think one of the big things that we have seen during this period is the challenge in having users having to funnel back to the data center out to SaaS applications or applications that are in the public cloud. This has all had a slight impact on productivity, and we are now seeing organizations that are looking at cloud delivered services such as Prisma Access to be able to gain access to those applications irrespective of where they may lie without the need of backhauling that traffic. So since Prisma Access, since the pandemic was announced by World Health Organization, we have seen a huge uptick and surge in malicious activity from attackers that are using the domain and the name coronavirus and using them as weapons to gain access to people's devices. So for example, click here to see the latest drug to help treat coronavirus. And of course, we're seeing that as a bad domain and a way for attackers to gain access to those corporate networks via these phishing scams as they are. It is obviously a huge challenge for organizations now as their users are now fully remote, to ensure that those users are safe, that they're using the internet correctly, and of course that those applications that they have are safe without the threat of exfiltration and those attackers gaining access to them from your workers as they are. So from this, I will allow my good colleague Dave Harper to take us through Prisma Access, what Prisma Access is, and ultimately how Prisma Access can really aid and assist you as you look forward into the future over these next 6-9 months, which will look, as we know, very different to what we've had previously. So with that, I'll end, and Dave, I'll pass this over to you. Thank you very much for your time.
So thanks for that, Spencer. So I'd like to talk about some of the emerging challenges that we see within the marketplace and among our customers. Is really, it shouldn't be strange or surprising for you to see that cloud adoption is on the increase. Mobility, especially in these days where users are working remotely far more so than what they have before. And also risk of securing your remote sites, branch offices, as you start to embrace a more direct internet access model. So we see a problem within the mobile user scenario in that traditional VPNs are really designed to bring a user onto your network to access applications and services, and not so much to access anything outside on the web like SaaS or other cloud-based or other cloud access. So when using cloud applications, see a majority of the users just disconnect their VPN because they get better performance to access, and then only engage the VPN when they want to access anything on-prem. But they still need security. No matter where you're going or what services you're using, you still need to have that consistent security posture. So with Prisma Access, some of the things we look at in terms of differentiators are Prisma Access is designed for all applications, whether it's in the cloud, internet-based, or in the interwebs, or in the data center, and better user experience. So we work automatically with connections to the cloud at over 100 different locations across the globe. And it's inline security that's always on. So protection is there. It's an always on VPN, so your users are going to be safe, and your users don't need to worry about enabling or disabling. So when you look at branch in retail or remote offices, MPLS typically is very costly, and it's slow to provision. Depending on what part of the world you're in, it's slow to provision. Broadband provides better experience and also better access to cloud applications. So you have this huge shift to direct internet access, but that entails a risk. How do I secure that traffic? Do I need to put a firewall everywhere at all my remote sites? Well, how do you scale that if you have hundreds of sites across the globe or even in a particular region? So with Prisma Access, some differentiators are really quite clear. Is one, we improve the user experience because we provide a faster connection to and faster access to the internet and those services contained, whether it's private cloud, public cloud, SaaS applications. You reduce the need to backhaul applications across MPLS. So if you're looking to reduce those costs, we can facilitate that. And better security. So as we're able to create essentially a mesh between your remote sites and your data centers and give that single security posture in a single solution, rather than using multiple solutions to provide overlays of security in different areas. So our approach is really simple. So if you're not familiar with Palo Alto networks, we have our first gen. We were the first ones to come out with the first generation firewall or next generation firewall. We have VM series, and we also shifted to Prisma Access, which is really, if you look at Gartner's Secure Access Service Edge model, it fits perfectly within that. So when you look at the SASE model that Gartner's been talking about lately, there are really two elements. One is network as a service. So being able to connect your users to these services, whether it's on-prem or off-prem, being able to integrate or provide an SD-WAN solution, look at securing that traffic with an IPsec tunnel, SSL VPN for your mobile users, et cetera, using things like QoS and PBF. A lot of that technology we can do today at Palo Alto Networks. What we also do as a security as a service is provide an essential security layer in the cloud as a service. Things like SSL decryption, CASB, your URL filtering, a zero trust network architecture, a firewall as a service, DNS security, sandboxing, et cetera. So these things we do today with Prisma Access. So we're able to provide, if you happen to be a Palo Alto Networks customer, great. You can utilize what you have already. If you're not, that's not a problem at all. The focus is really around providing that cloud security. Because at the end of the day, Prisma Access is an architecture that provides security in the public cloud. Public cloud meaning internet, data center, et cetera. So when you look at what Prisma Access is, where it's hosted, so we are a cloud service. We sit in AWS and GCP. But if you kind of look at example of what that leverages, we leverage the fiber backbone of those providers. If you look at GCP, that has the largest fiber backbone of all the cloud providers, and the connectivity of where we sit is pretty much on every one of those locations. So what does that mean for you? So that means that if you need local content for sites or regions, we can provide that for you. We're not in a fixed data center, so we're able to scale and expand and provide that service dynamically with zero interruption to you and to the service. So we have over 100 different locations across the globe. We can do site-to-site middle mile optimization. We back our service with an SLA for stability and performance. And if you're looking at direct internet access, we provide that direct internet egress for optimum performance for your SaaS applications. And of course, this is overlaid with a BGP environment as well. So the business value that we provide is really speed and agility. So if you're moving to secure or replace a legacy VPN solution, we can quickly onboard your mobile users in a matter of a day. Now, always the technology is there. It's the changes and the processes and everything that determines how fast you roll out. But we can onboard those users really quickly. And it's a consistent platform for consistent security and compliance. So you have a single pane of glass where you manage all your policies, all your access controls for all your users, whether they're sitting on-prem or sitting off-prem or working remotely. So this provides a reduced operational costs and complexity because you don't need to use other technologies like proxies all over the place or appliances for your VPN, et cetera. So we can offset a lot of that. And at the end of the day, provide an improved user experience. So some takeaways around Prisma Access is it's an architecture. It's security as a service. It's network as a service. Full traffic model support. So whether it's client to server, server to client, et cetera, we can support that, which makes us unique among other vendors that are out there. And it's managed, Panorama manages the service itself. Not only can you manage Prisma Access, but you can also manage, if you happen to be a Palo Alto Networks customer, all your on-prem firewall series, whether they're hardware or virtual. And on that note, I will turn it back over and thank you very much.